We're up.
Welcome to the City of Goldsboro Community Relations Department virtual public meeting for input on housing and non-housing needs. I am your moderator, Shakole Simpson Carter. I am the Community Relations Director for the City of Goldsboro. And I have present the Commission on Community Relations so that they can hear all the comments that are being received and my responses to those comments. In a few seconds, we're going to do a roll call of the members from the Commission on Community Relations and Development, which will be about 3 minutes. Hold on one moment. We got a technical difficulty with the slide. It's not proceeding.
Hold on. There you go.
All right. Okay. So first, let me just say this much. We are aware that many of our participants are by phone only and do not have a visual. So just in case of that, I will be reading the full content of this presentation to accommodate those with only audio access. We want to make sure everyone receives the same information. So those who have visual and is able to see the full slide, I want to make sure that those that only have audio know the same information. So I will be reading the full content of this presentation to accommodate those. At this time, what I'm going to do is for me to have a gauge of the members from the commission. I'm going to do a roll call. When you hear your name, please just say present. We are going to make sure everything is unmute so that when you hear your name, if you're a member of the commission and I say your name, please say present. First name, Ms. Hawatha Jones.
Hold on. You gotta. Hold on. Let me take over host. I didn't know you wanted to.
Hold on one moment. This is our first, well, for mine's first virtual public meeting.
Go up to participant and hit unmute all.
All right. Okay. Hold on. Okay. We have, hold on.
Hold on.
Hello? Will you all, everyone mute your mic? Just in case it's from your end and not ours?
Hold on. It might have been me.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
That might be better.
All righty. Let's get started. I'm going to do a roll call of just the members of the Commission on Community Relations. If you hear your name, please say present. Ms. Hawatha Jones? Ms. Tara Humphrey? Present. Mr. Gregory Robinson? Mr. Steve McFarland? Mr. Earl Nixon? Ms. Tracy Lewis? Now, I do know Ms. Tracy Lewis is on the call, and she's also... All right, let's try this again. Is Ms. Hawatha Jones present? Ms. Tara Humphrey? Gregory Robinson? A little technical glitch, hold on. Can you hear? All right.
Just mute it.
It's muted again.
Hello, there's a lot of feedback.
We're trying to resolve technical issues. If you can understand me, just hold on, bear with us. We apologize for the inconvenience.
All right, let's try it now.
Okay, I think we've resolved the echoing, so I'm going to start with the roll call. Is Ms. Hawatha Jones on the meeting? Tara Humphrey? Gregory Robertson? Steve McFarland? Earl Nixon? Tracy Lewis? Christian Demond? Sergio Sanchez? Mayel Thompson? Elvira Johnson? Amy Bauer?
Hello?
Yeah, that's Mr. Christian. Is that Mr. Christian Demond? Hello? Brad's still saying mute.
Everybody's unmuted except for us and a few couple.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
That's
I
Mr.
can. This is Christian. I just wanted you to know I'm on this call.
Christian, you can hear me, Shako?
I'm on the call too. How are you? I keep missing
I'm
your
doing
call.
well. I know. I'm going to call you soon. I'm so very sorry.
Oh, okay, no, it's okay. Take your time.
Ms. Hawatha?
Do we stay on this call and not say anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna mute them
I
all.
don't know, because I can't hear anything at all.
Me neither.
Are they meeting?
I saw on Facebook they had started streaming, so.
Guys, the audio's messed up. Can you hear me? This is Scott Satterfield.
Hey, Scott, how are you?
Hey, yeah, hey, how are you? Everybody's going to be muted here shortly, just so they can get to a remedy. And then they're working on the audio for this call and this meeting. So if you'll just be patient. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll stay connected. And hi, Watha, I'll message you and we'll set up a time to talk soon, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, lady.
The WebEx is not pushing out on the right system. Hold on. There, I can get that audio.
So did you mute Chris?
I muted myself, but I'll just unmute myself if I need to talk.
Can y'all hear us on the WebEx? Testing. Can you hear us on the WebEx now? Can you hear us on the WebEx now?
Can you hear us on the WebEx?
Possible for her to phone in and talk that way?
But even if it's going to the WebEx, it's Shakol. Oh yes, you could do that.
Can you try to give your phone there, Shako?
I do, but do you have something that, I mean,
That'll put your voice on the network.
Here.
I've done that before on the speaker system.
I got it there. Where are you on? Here, let's do this.
Is there a mic on that computer?
can you hear me? Hello, can you all hear me on the WebEx?
Yes, I can hear you. This is Christian.
And this is Tracy.
All right, we are having some technical difficulties, so we've had to switch from live mic to the mic on the laptop. So just bear with me. If you cannot hear me, please let me know if I'm not loud enough.
I can hear you very well.
All right, great. So we're going to start this over and just assume that no one was able to hear me. Oh, we're waiting for the slide. All right. We're trying to get the slide up, and we're going to start. All right, I think we can go. Welcome you all to the City of Goldsboro Community Relations Department virtual public meeting for input on housing and non-housing within Goldsboro. I am your moderator, Chateau Simpson Carter, the Community Relations Director for the City of Goldsboro and Grant Administrator for all of the HUD funds that is received by the City of Goldsboro. If you have a visual of our slide, I would just want you to know that we do have some people who are chiming in through only audio. So this may seem very tedious, but we want to accommodate those that only have audio. So therefore, the presentation as it is presented on the slide, I will be reading the entire content to ensure that we have accommodated those who only have audio. I assure you all I'm going to try my best to not speed read, but definitely not drag along. So, part of our agenda, we've done the introduction. We are going to do a roll call of members from the Commission on Community Relations and Development. That should take about 3 minutes. We will also have a review of our HUD fund programs, which should be another 5 minutes. We will also give a status on Goldsboro analysis of impediment to fair housing choice, which will be another 3 minutes. A briefing of so far identified housing and community development needs and proposed goals and projects. So we're looking at another 10 to 15 minutes for that. We will then, after I conclude the presentation, will allow for the discussion, Q&A, comments, and suggestions to begin. At this time, I'm going to do a roll call. So if you are a commission member, and that's only 11, there may be several people on the call or WebEx and Facebook, but we only have 11 members. When I call your name, please state present. Ms. Hawatha Jones? Ms. Hawatha Jones? Christian DeMar? Tracy Lewis? Gregory Robertson? Steve McFarland? Tara Humphrey? Sergio Sanchez? Elvira Johnson? Amy Bauer? Earl Nixon? Miss Margaret Wright, I'm calling you because I can see that you are on the WebEx. Can you hear me? Okay, I just can't hear you. I can't hear you all that loud on the speaker. All right. All right, as long as I know you all are hearing me, I'm fine. Right now, for right now. Okay, and I see Cassandra, I see Miss Amy Bowers on. And Miss Tracy Lewis. And I hear Miss Hawatha. And Mr. Christian DeMar. Okay, we're going to move on. I want to go over the meeting etiquettes. To ensure that everyone in attendance has a chance to voice their opinion, please limit your comments to 2 minutes. This will give everyone an equal chance to make comments. Comments will be directed to and responded by the Community Relations Director, who is the moderator of this virtual public meeting. Please provide your full name before providing your comment, and how we will do that is, once I conclude my presentation, I will open it up for comments, and I will ask who would like to go first, and please state your name. Again, please provide your full name before providing your comment. Please do not interrupt or debate others. There are no right or wrong opinions in our discussion today. To be respectful to others, if you have more to say or have very detailed questions, contact us after the meeting, either by making an appointment for an in-person meeting, by phone at 919-580-4318, or by email to ssimpson@goldsboro.nc.gov. I'm about to give you all my personal Gmail. But I want to make one state that's not on this meeting etiquette. This is not the final public hearing. The final public hearing before City Council will be June 15th. We decided to provide a public comment to receive more comment on housing and non-housing needs in Goldsboro prior to the release of the plan, which is a draft, and a draft is subject to change throughout the 30 days based off of the input we receive and the guidance from council. So the plan, which will be stated at the end, will be released May 27th to the public for a 30-day review until June 25th. Again, a public hearing before City Council for additional comments will be on June 15th at their 7 o'clock meeting. So I do not want anybody to mistake that this is the final public comment period. Moving right along. For CDBG and home, there are following studies that are required by all communities receiving Community Development Block Grant and Home Investment Partnership Funds. Their consolidated plan and action plan are required. A comp plan is a 5-year plan that evaluates housing and community development needs and then guides how funds will be spent over the next 5 years. An action plan are annual updates that specify how funds will be spent each year of the comp plan cycle. It is also required to do a fair housing study. And some fair house studies, there are analysis of impediments to fair housing choice, which is called an AI, or an assessment of fair housing are conducted once every 5 years and look at disparities in access to housing and economic opportunity for protected classes such as race, color, religion, national origin, sex, disability, and familiar status, just to name a few. Other HUD funds received and grant funds anticipated along with planned projects are included in the comp plan. Just want to let you all know that plans are developed by data analysis from local, state, and federal agencies, also by other planning efforts in the city, through community engagement such as stakeholder and resident surveys or public meetings and hearings, and from previous information obtained through the course of daily functions or interactions. Now, Goldsboro analysis of impediment to fair housing choice. The last 5-year cycle was completed by Ask Development Solution and was submitted to HUD December 2014. In December of 2015, and excuse me, I think I meant to have 2015 instead of 14. So that is a typo. So in December 2019, Goldsboro began the process for securing a qualified firm to complete an AI to evaluate barriers to housing choice in Goldsboro. After much consultation between Goldsboro, HUD, and the interested firms, Goldsboro has selected UNC Greensboro Center for Housing and Community Studies to aid Goldsboro and our community stakeholders in developing housing goals that will ultimately increase fair housing choice, build opportunities for all residents, and strengthen communities. The process for obtaining input from stakeholders and residents began in April through 2 public surveys. Please visit the Community Relations webpage for more information or to complete these surveys so your input can be counted. The firm will be conducting additional community engagements as well. Goldsboro anticipates providing a draft AI to HUD by August 16th. So, let's get into what everybody really likes to hear about. What will Goldsboro receive in this comp plan? We have anticipated that we will receive 4 funding sources throughout the course of this comp plan. Again, we may seek other grant opportunities, but we cannot account for those in this 5-year comp plan because we don't have authorization by council. The only way that I can seek out a grant based off the city charter is if it is by the authorization by council, either by ordinance, resolution, or explicit authorization through maybe a work session, because a grant application is considered part of the contract. So we are only showing the sources that we are authorized to go after based off of council's guidance. And that is our community development block grant is one source. Our home investment partnership is one source. There's a new source that will be for only 1 year, which is called a community development block grant COVID fund. And then our typical urgent repair funds that we go after. The first 3 sources are federal, and the last is a state funding. In your second column, I have provided you all what is the expected amount for year 1 of FY 2021. You will find in the first 2 rows of the second column, I'm giving you what is the annual allocation, program income, prior year resource. For community development, HUD has instructed the City of Goldsboro that we will receive $351,137 in CDBG funds. We anticipate receiving program income of $3,120, and we currently have prior year funds unexpended of $180,123 for a total for CDBG of $534,380 for year 1. The Home Investment Partnership Program allocation is $237,076. Program income is $4,048. Prior year funds of home funds unspent is $525,028 for a total of $766,152. For the community development block grant COVID money that we were just provided through the CARE Act, we are going to receive $206,554. The urgent repair, the first year we're going to have carry over $100,000. And in the third column, what I wanted to show you all is what is the expected amount available the remaining of the comp plan year, which is FY 21 to FY 24. And as you can see, we're anticipating having anywhere from around $1.4 million in community development block grant funds over the next 4 years after the first year. We are anticipating having $1.3 million or so of home funds over the next 4 years. And right now, we've only stated that we will receive 1 year allocation of the CDBG COVID money. I will tell you that the state of North Carolina for the second round has been granted the funds instead of it coming directly to entitlements as this first cycle did. So the city of Goldsboro will have to apply for additional COVID money through the CARES Act from HUD, which we will do that once we get authorization by council to apply for it. The urgent repair program, we're showing that over the remaining 4 years of receiving around $400,000. And then anyone that want to know, we're anticipating on a conservative, these are conservative numbers that we've budgeted. The City of Goldsboro may receive more, which is based off of our census information. So I want to do a shameless plug to please complete your census data information. If anyone you know, please urge them as well. But we're anticipating on the conservative side of receiving around $4.7 million over the 5-year cycle. In the process of developing a draft con plan, the City of Goldsboro was able to identify 4 top priority needs that we think that this con plan cycle would be the driving factor of how we tailor our goals and what projects we put out to help our residents of Goldsboro, particularly are low to moderate income. Well, let me go back to that. The 4 goals is attainable housing development and preservation. The second one is neighborhood stabilization. The third goal is priority need is non-housing community development. The fourth priority need is, I'm going like totally blank, equity and affirmatively furthering fair housing. Attainable housing development and preservation. The description that we are providing to HUD is Goldsboro will develop and preserve attainable housing for low to moderate income individuals and families through activities that will extend the lifespan or increase attainable housing units citywide and in local target areas. This can be achieved through acquisition, new construction, and or rehabilitation activities. The second priority need, neighborhood stabilization. The description to HUD is with the proposed rule change to CDBG and home program to create flexibilities to incentivize their use in designated opportunity zones. Goldsboro will direct and leverage CDBG and home funds for preservation and creation of affordable housing and attract revitalizing investments that can create jobs, businesses, expansion, and new business development within these designated opportunity zones. It's been stated before, the City of Goldsboro applied through the U.S. Treasury and was granted 3 opportunity zones within the city limits, and those are the lowest target areas of low to moderate income residents that those opportunity zones were chosen. Off the top of my head, and I hate to do that and be wrong, but that will be provided in the comp plan when it's released on May 27, but it's Census Tract 18, 19, and 15, if I'm not mistaken. The third priority need that the city is identifying and the description that they have provided to HUD is the non-housing community development. Goldsboro will provide and expand essential services and improve public infrastructure that support low to moderate income individuals and families, and this will be achieved through education, employment and training programs, health services, or public enhancements, to name a few. The fourth priority need is equity and affirmatively further fair housing. Goldsboro desire to work proactively to reduce and mitigate barriers to fair housing choice and to affirmatively further fair housing choice, including fostering equity in neighborhood access to opportunities. So those are the 4 top priority needs that Goldsboro has identified in this comp plan cycle thus far. And as you can see, the majority of them, or if not all 4, is geared towards housing in some way. From that, is the driving force for developing your goals and proposed projects that will be identified in the comp plan. And as you can see, Goldsboro has 7 target goals: affirmatively furthering fair housing choice, increase affordable rental housing option, increase access to affordable home ownership options, improve, expand public facility access and capacity, provide essential services and employment training, provide rehabilitation owner-occupied and city-owned. And the final target goal is program administration to support comp plan and our annual action plan's objective. From those goals, we have come up with 11 proposed projects. I just want to say that the 11th one may be one year, and if we receive a second of COVID, then it will be a second year that project, which is the COVID-19 Public Service Grant, will show up in the comp plan. But thus far, as we have stated, the proposed projects is 1, fair housing, a project of housing counseling. 2 is public facility improvement, city-owned. 4 is public services. 5 is rehabilitation, acquisition, admin, public-owned residential buildings. Shelter reserve, homebuyer assistance with rehabilitation, rental housing development. The 10th one is program admin to support comp plan and AP objective. And the final, as I stated, is COVID-19 public service grants. For the target goal, affirmative furthering fair housing choice, funds will be provided to make meaningful actions to overcome significant disparity in housing need and in access to opportunity, replacing segregated living patterns with truly integrated and balanced living patterns, transforming racially and ethically concentrated area of poverty into areas of opportunity, and fostering and maintaining compliance with civil rights and fair housing law. The second target goal, increase affordable rental housing option. Funds will be used to leverage public-private partnerships that produce new affordable rental housing. This will allow for low to moderate income households to pay no more than 30% of their income for housing costs, including utilities. Target goal 3, increase access to affordable home ownership options. Funds will be used to reduce the monthly carrying costs of mortgage loans from private lenders to increase home ownership opportunities through down payment and closing cost assistance, along with housing counseling services to low to moderate income households, including individuals and families with children who are currently housed but threatened with homelessness. Goldsboro will add new home ownership housing by one or both activity. 1, providing funds to nonprofits designated as Community Housing Development Organizations, CHODO, for construction of new single-family housing within their organization target area. Or 2, by Goldsboro utilizing funds for properties to be acquired, rehabilitated, or reconstructed for resale as single-family or multifamily housing units for low to moderate income households within Goldsboro's target areas. 4, improve and expand public facility access capacity. That goal is defined by funds will be used to support the needs of Goldsboro residential sustainability growth, and at the same time replacing existing facilities that have deteriorated due to the age of becoming obsolete within low to moderate income census tract block groups. It is anticipated that the cost for such improvements will leverage or spur new development and enhance existing residential units and possibly nearby businesses. Target goal 5, provide essential services and employment training. Funds will be used to provide and expand upon essential services and employment training to low to moderate income individuals and families, as well as the special needs population of Goldsboro, not to exceed the 15% public service cap as regulated by HUD. Goal 6, provide rehabilitation, owner-occupied and city-owned. Funds will be provided for owner-occupied housing rehabilitation for low to moderate households and special need population. Funds will also be provided for Goldsboro to acquire, rehabilitate, or reconstruct housing units to ensure affordability for low to moderate income households and special needs population, while reducing slum and blight to benefit low to moderate households and special needs populations within physical environments of deteriorating areas. The seventh and final target goal, program administration to support comp plan and AP objectives. Funds will be provided for planning, activities, and administration to support this 5-year comp plan and all adjacent action plans objectives, not to exceed the 20% CDBG cap, 20% CDBG COVID cap, and the 10% home program cap as regulated by HUD. As I said prior, your priority needs drive your goal. Your goals determine your projects. Goldsboro proposed projects identified in this comp plan is first, a fair housing project. Funds will be provided to take meaningful actions to overcome significant disparities in housing needs and access to opportunities, replacing segregated living patterns with truly integrated and balanced living patterns, transforming racially and ethnically concentrated areas of poverty into areas of opportunity and fostering and maintaining compliance with civil rights and fair housing laws. The second project will be housing counseling. Funds will be provided for counseling that is independent, expert advice customized to the need of the consumer to address the consumer's housing barriers and to help achieve their housing goals. This will include, but not be limited to, intake, financial and housing affordability analysis, an action plan, except for reverse mortgage counseling, and a reasonable effort to have follow-up communication with the client when possible. The third project will be public facilities and improvement of city-owned properties. Funds will be used to support the needs of Goldsboro residential sustainability growth and at the same time replacing existing facilities that have deteriorated due to age or have become obsolete within low to moderate census tract block groups. It is anticipated that the cost of such improvements will leverage or spur new development and enhance existing residential units and possibly nearby businesses. Funds will be used for the debt service of the W.A. Foster Center construction approved under the 2015 request for release of funds and certification by HUD. And that will be for just the first 3 years of this comp plan, and then the city of Goldsboro would have expended its $1.6 million for W.A. Foster. Project 4, public services. Funds will be used to provide and expand upon essential services and employment training to low to moderate income individuals and families and special needs populations, not to exceed the 15% public service cap regulated by HUD. Rehabilitation, acquisition, admin, and public-owned residential buildings. Funds will be provided for owner-occupied housing rehabilitation for low to moderate households and special needs population. Funds will also be provided for Goldsboro to acquire, rehabilitate, or reconstruct housing units to ensure affordability for low to moderate households and special needs population, while reducing slum and blight to benefit low to moderate households and special needs populations within physical environments of a deteriorating area. Funds will be provided for all delivery costs, including staff, other indirect costs, and service costs directly related to carrying out housing rehabilitation activities. The sixth project is Chodo Reserve. Funds will be used to add new home ownership housing by nonprofits designated as Community Housing Development Organizations, Chodo, for the construction of new single-family housing within the organization target area. The seventh project will be Homebuyer Assistance. Funds will be used to reduce the monthly carrying costs of mortgage loans from private lenders to increase home ownership opportunities through down payment, closing cost assistance to low to moderate households, including individuals and families with children who are currently housed but threatened with homelessness. The eighth project, Homebuyer Assistance with Rehabilitations. Funds will be provided for properties to be acquired, rehabilitated, or reconstructed for resale as single-family or multi-family housing units for low to moderate income households within Goldsboro's target area utilizing a developer. This will allow the reduction for the monthly carrying costs of mortgage loans to increase homeownership opportunities through down payment assistance as well, and closing cost assistance to low to moderate income households, including individual and families with children who are currently housed but threatened with homelessness. Something that I want to give as a side note to this, the driving force is to also provide where if the city has a property, like we do have several properties that we do not have to acquire. They just require some minor or substantial rehab to it. So the city of Goldsboro will utilize the funds to rehab or repair those housing units and then sell those to low to moderate income residents with the intent and hoping that they can secure a mortgage loan to purchase the property. But if not, then the city would take on as the lender. This is not something new to HUD. Cities have been doing this for years. The city of Goldsboro, we've done it more through our rehab, not home ownership. It's just service loans that we do rehab work. This will be a combination of home buyer assistance and rehab. The ninth project is rental housing development. Funds will be used to leverage public-private partnership that produce new affordable rental housing. This will allow for low to moderate households to pay no more than 30% of their income for housing costs, including utilities. The 10th project is program administration to support comp plan and action plan objective. Funds will be provided for planning activities and administration to support this 5-year comp plan and all adjacent action plan, not to exceed the 20% CDBG cap, 20% CDBG COVID cap, or the 10% home program caps as regulated by HUD. The final project that the city goes propose in this comp plan is a COVID-19 public service grant. CDBG CV will assist public services activities to prevent, prepare for, and respond to the spread of COVID-19. This activity is identified as an urgent need caused by COVID-19 and noted as such within the CARES Act and all HUD memorandum transmittal that we have received. How to continue to participate after this meeting? Tell us what you think today. Of course, you can call the city by contacting me, Shaco Simpson Carter, at 919-580-4318. You can also send your comments via email to me at ssimpson@goldsboronc.gov. You can also send a letter to the Goldsboro Commission on Community Relations and Development, attention to myself, Shaco Simpson Carter, at P.O. Drawer A, Goldsboro, NC 27533. As I stated previously, the draft FY 2024 comp plan and FY 2021 action plan will be available for comment or public review and comment as well from May 27 until June 25th. You can access that document at the city's website, www.goldsboronc.gov/CDBG home plans and reports. So if you just go on the Community Relations webpage and click on the blue tab that says CDBG and home plans and report, it would direct you right to the access of that report. The draft of the comp plan. Okay. Now, I will restate. I'm going to, after I finish restating these items, I will be opening up for discussions and comment. Again, to ensure that everyone in attendance has a chance to voice their opinion, please limit your comments to 2 minutes. This will give everyone an equal chance to make a comment. Comments will be directed to and responded only by the Community Relations Director. Please provide your full name before providing your comment. Please do not interrupt or debate others. There are no right or wrong opinion in our discussion today. To be respectful to others, if you have more to say or have very detailed questions, contact us after the meeting, either by making an appointment for an in-person meeting by phone at 919-580-4318 or by email to ssimpson@goldsboronc.gov. I would like, for full disclosure, for everyone to know, we are going to abide by the meeting etiquette. If by chance we have some unforeseen circumstance, we will mute mics. But I am sure that we will carry on and knock this right on out. So, who would like to be the first to provide a comment, remembering 2 minutes, and please state your full name before your comment. Is there someone from the general public that would like to give us a comment on housing and non-housing needs that you are aware of in Goldsboro? Okay. I'm going to ask one more time.
I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Is there, I see someone said there was no slide for 9 and 10. All right, is there anyone that would like to, in the general public, that would like to speak for 2 minutes on the housing and non-housing needs that you have identified in Goldsboro that you want us to take into account? Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And to respond to you, Mr. Martin, as I stated in the email, this is just a public meeting prior to the release. We want to get additional engagement to gather some more information from stakeholders of what they are seeing as being the atmosphere, and stakeholders are providers and residents of what you all are seeing already out there in our community that is needed that we can take it into account. This is not the public hearing that will provide a final comment. A public hearing will be held before City Council after the plan is released, as usual, June 15th, for the public to have what I like to say, an open mic opportunity before council. You are also allowed to submit your comments during the 30-day comment period. You will also still have time to submit comments after June 25th and after the June 15th public hearing before City Council, because this will not be turned into HUD till July 15th. So you'll have from today until, I say roughly July 14th to provide your comments in written form or contacting us at the department, but definitely before council. The public hearing will be June 15th, which is after the release of the plan, to give you time to analyze it and also have your comments ready to address during the public hearing on June 15th. And thank you for your comments. Does anyone else at this time have a comment that they would like to make on housing and non-housing needs in Goldsboro? Doing fine. How about you?
Well, just in regards to the city's approach to single-family housing in like the 80 to 120% and more workforce development housing. The working families. Just a little bit.
Well, I will refer back to, and I'm going to see if I can receive my slide back. I'm going to refer back to our project 9, which is rental housing development. That project will tackle that level of income and lower as well. So the idea is to definitely ensure that there is rental housing development for that segment of income bracket and lower, to be able to have affordable housing units, and that will also be achieved through homebuyer assistance programs and CHODO opportunities that will be provided through our CHODO reserves, designated CHODO nonprofits that will construct new housing. So of course with HUD, you cannot go over the 80% AMI of Goldsboro, so that will serve those target population, as well as any of those who decide that they would like to purchase one of the city-owned homes. And city-owned is the homes that we acquire and rehab or reconstruct for single family. Of course, there is a limitation in what is called after rehab value. And just to touch base, this, as an example, excuse me, I didn't pause the timer. Cancel. Okay. You can tell I'm not used to doing a timer. So don't worry, I'm going to see if I can get Brad to help me.
Hit stop here.
Okay. I always use this as an example in public meetings because it's one I think everyone in Goldsboro can relate or know some information about. Let's say like historic homes. The cost to rehab, abate a historic home would take us over what is called the after rehab market value. So thus we do not do rehabilitation or acquire historic homes through our program for us to rehab. Of course, if a homeowner is able to afford a mortgage through a traditional lender and decides that they may want to purchase a home, let's say that's in a historic district, and let's say it doesn't have any lead in it, because for us, before you can even get down payment assistance, you have to abate the lead if it's identified. So that is separate from home buyer assistance. And so they may want to purchase a historic home. But as I stated, those activities like fair housing, housing counseling, even public services helps individuals whose income is at the 80% AMI or below. All right. Is there someone else that would like to provide a comment or question or suggestion? I'm sorry, was there someone that wanted to provide a housing and non-housing community development comment? Would anyone else like to speak? I'm going to be my final call to you. Now, what we're going to do is, if you all would just bear with me, I would like to just check and make sure those who are viewing this on Facebook to see if anyone made a comment under the city's Facebook to see what we can respond to. Okay. I will tell you that we have a comment that says that this was because they didn't want participation. The City of Goldsboro welcomes all level and form of participation, and this is not the only form. We started back in through our stakeholders and survey, and like I said, throughout the years of our functions and interactions daily. So this will not be the final avenue for participation. I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. Anybody know what we box is? I'm so sorry, I don't. Okay, I think someone was trying to tell them that that's WebEx. Thanks, Scott. All right, thanks, Mr. DeMont, for chiming in. Okay, yes, the final public hearing meeting will be at the City Council meeting at 7 p.m. June 15th. And this is just a preliminary. Ms. Sherry Cranberry, thank you so much. All right, we don't have any other questions, comments from our Facebook. I just want to see before I close this public meeting, is there anyone else that may have changed their mind that would like to publicly give a comment on housing and non-housing community development needs in Goldsboro?
And can I make another comment?
You know what, you know what, Mr. Martin? Go ahead.
On the COVID-19
Yes, sir.
service grant, has any thought been given as to how to use those funds?
Yes, sir. I will tell you that I've been vetting nonprofits, so I've been soliciting to them soon as I was notified by HUD, I started reaching out to the nonprofits and soliciting to them, what is it that you're currently doing in response to COVID-19? What is your anticipated outcome, and what is the funding that you would consider would be a starting point to assist if the city of Goldsboro were to fund you? I will tell you that what I have expressed to each one of them, and it's in the email, we have found that the minority community is the most despaired community from this COVID-19. And I have been very frank with them that good ideas and good intentions are wonderful, but if they don't deliver long-term changing effects, the city of Goldsboro may not be able to consider funding them. We can't provide funding for good intentions that don't deliver long-term outcomes. So what I will tell you that I have had discussions with and plan on having discussion with council further is we need to fund activities that are going to provide homelessness assistance, that's going to provide either through permanent transition into housing or temporary. We need to be able to provide health care. What I have found in researching, Mr. Martin, is we are finding a lot of under or uninsured individuals that are out of work, and therefore they do not have funding for health care. Watch, which we all know about, has their free health service through the mobile van. We need to equip them to be able to provide the services to our minority and our, what I call, most despaired population, and that is also those who are underinsured or uninsured with medical service. I have started already, because HUD allowed us to use our current FY19 money for COVID needs, and I've purchased KN95 masks. I've purchased facial surgical mask and provided that to some nonprofits, and we've provided the KN95 mask to the city, and some of the surgical face mask, procedure masks were provided to the city. I will tell you from my discussion with HUD that they are very pushing us to increase testing, and so I'm looking for funding activities that's for testing and that are also for contact tracing. So we're looking to fund nonprofits that will do those things and case management, because you're going to have to provide case management to those impacted by COVID-19. And so those are the ideas that I will tell you that I'm looking at, and I plan to present before council at their June 15th of some possible agencies. I will tell you, so far, I have vetted, and I'm going to be receiving more information from some of them, these agencies, the four-day movement, Wayne Uplift, and I will tell you that we are finding, because of COVID-19, it's just not Goldsboro, there is an uptick of domestic violence, and we, definitely need to provide some additional assistance to get those individuals and their children out of those situations. We're looking at maybe funding the Salvation Army for some rapid rehousing and sheltering. We are also looking at, and excuse me for one moment, we are also looking at case management and homelessness assistance, as well as food services, as well as providing surgical masks or N95 masks to be distributed to our most despaired population through wages. And so we're going to continue that conversation in the next 2 weeks, and as I stated, that will be fully briefed to council of possible agencies that they can fund in those areas. And I hope those are some of the same areas you were considering, but if you were considering some others, I would love to know about them.
Mainly, I'm concerned about masks. Getting
Yeah.
face masks out there.
I agree. I'll tell you that the first order I did was a order of 400 KN95 masks. The second order was 800, and then we did 2,500 surgical masks. So that is a priority to me as well, too, sir. And I'll tell you that's our intent. That's the first on the priority. I'll be honest, the intent to get those definitely needed COVID-19 supplies out to those that need it the most. I know, I agree with you. You know, I'll tell you, as I had a conversation with one of the council members, when you look at some of the sales of these masks, it's very unfortunate that you can get 5 masks and you're paying $20 and $30, so you're paying $5 or more for one mask. So our intent is to get those out where they would not be of any cost to those that are receiving them, and they can have more a larger quantity to be able to use. Yes, sir. Thank you. Is there any other comment before we close this public meeting? And as I stated, this is not the last opportunity for you to give your thoughts.
Hey, Nicole, this is Christian.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say thanks for putting all this together, and thank you for everybody who's tuning in, chiming in.
Thank you for that. And yes, thank you everyone that participated on our first virtual public meeting. I do apologize for any of the technical glitches that we had, and as well as my glitch I'm having now with my eyes. So I'm talking to you all with my eyes closed. But so I do want to thank you all for being patient with us. And I definitely would love to have you all email me your feedback on how we can improve this if we have to move forward with this as a new normal. I will tell you, HUD got on this very early on and told us this was probably going to be our new norm. So other entitlement cities have already done this. I was hoping that that the COVID-19 would not require us to have to do this, that we can continue our in-person large mass grouping. But, you know, we will make sure that there's every accommodation for you. This presentation will be uploaded to the Community Relations website as well, in that same section where you can go May 27th to view the draft of the comp plan and the action plan. So immediately after this meeting, this presentation will be uploaded to that section so you to go back and read through it. Please, I encourage you all, May 27th, access the draft of the comp plan. Again, I just want to say, it's just a draft. It is subject to change. But I will tell you, what we have presented is what we think is a strong plan that's more comprehensive and more forward-way thinking than we've ever done before, that has tried to meet the needs of the things that we've heard in previous meetings and interactions with you all, to try to step away from what was our constant normal to do something a little more innovative towards housing. So I hope that it meets those needs as well to you. Yes.
Dr. Jones, I want to thank you for all this information that you shared. It's a lot, and I know a lot of us will look at it again.
Thank you. And if anyone wants this slide, email it to them instead of going up to the website, just let me know. So with that, we will conclude the meeting, and I thank you all again, and we'll talk to you soon. Stay safe.